Knock on the Saints door. Quarterback sneak by Tom Brady to the 43-year-old score. He did. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Spike that ball, Tom Brady. Who says I'm 43? He runs right up the gut and scores 6. 7. Handoff, run the ball. Fournette slashes away to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 30, 25, to the 20. Fournette to the 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Run the ball, Leonard Fournette. Wow, what a blast up the gut, found daylight, and outran everybody. Fire the cannons, get them going. Bucs win. Bucs win, Bucs win. Fire them cannons.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Swords Up Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our Week 9 matchup, Sunday Night Football against the Saints. And of course, this is a rematch from Week 1 of our season, in which we lost that game 34-23. And today I'm going to be talking about the rematch as well as the key stats and players coming into this game. But first, starting off, as always, with the injury report. And starting off on the Buccaneers side, only 2 players come into this game with an injury designation, but they're pretty important and key players to the team. And unfortunately, Ali Marpet suffered a concussion in last week's game, so he is going to be out this week because he did not clear concussion protocol. And then Chris Godwin is expected to make his return this week from that broken finger, which he suffered in the Raiders game. Missed last week, but he is coming into this game as questionable. But he posted something on his Instagram as kind of like a hype-up video to the game, so I'm assuming he's going to be active and ready to play today. Also, some encouraging news was that William Golston earlier in the week was put on the COVID-19 reserve list for being in close contact with an individual outside of the team that contracted the virus, but he has been reactivated from that COVID-19 list and is expected to be playing today. Now, looking at the Saints side of things, they got some great news with Michael Thomas, so he's going to be questionable coming into this game with the ankle and hamstring injuries he's had. But despite him being questionable, it looks like he'll be back this week, so that's really good news for them. As well as Marquez Callaway, who missed last week's game. He's going to be coming back, and then Emmanuel Sanders was activated from the COVID-19 reserve list, so he'll be back as well. Alright, so like I mentioned, this is a rematch from Week 1. So obviously we lost our Week 1 matchup against the Saints by a score of 34-23, and in that game, there were a lot of mistakes, both offensively and defensively, as well as on special teams. It was just a nightmare of a first game for us. But we've really become a completely different team through these 8 weeks leading up to this game. The Buccaneers are looking like one of the best teams in the NFC right now, and they currently have a 3-game winning streak. And because we lost the first matchup against the Saints, this is going to be probably our most important game of the season. The winner of this game will take first place in the NFC South for the moment, and if the Buccaneers win this game, they will be a game and a half ahead of the Saints with 3 divisional games remaining in the season, 1 against the Panthers and 2 against the Falcons. Alright, so let's get into the key stats and players for the game, and for the Saints, it's going to be Alvin Kamara, and he's pretty much been the focal point of their offense this year with Michael Thomas being out and just the receiver room being pretty banged up. And Drew Brees hasn't really thrown the ball down the field that much at all this year. So Alvin Kamara has been his go-to guy in both the run and the pass game. And he's been very productive this year, both on the ground and in the air. On the ground, he has 87 carries for 431 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards per carry. And receiving, he has 55 catches for 556 yards, 3 touchdowns, and averaging 10.1 yards per catch. So obviously, he is both their leading rusher and their leading receiver this year. And I think we really need to focus on Alvin Kamara in this one. Considering the first matchup of the season with the Saints, we limited Michael Thomas to 3 catches for 17 yards. So I think we did a good job of containing him. Obviously, he's going to be back this week after missing every game between Week 1 and this week's game. So obviously, he's going to be trying to get back up to speed. And I think we can do a great job of containing him again. So it's going to be down to whether or not we contain Alvin Kamara. Over the seasons, he's had some pretty good games against us, so it's going to be imperative that we stop him. And I think the Saints' offense right now is very one-dimensional, and Kamara is really their main focal point. So I think if we can stop him, it's going to force Drew Brees to throw the ball down the field, which he has been unable to do this year very consistently. So I think I'm in full confidence that the Buccaneers defense is going to do a good job this week, considering that we have still the number 1 rush defense and with our really speedy linebackers in Levante David and Devin White, we can get around the field very quickly and stop those short plays, forcing the Saints to beat us deep down the field. All right, now the Buccaneers side of things. And who else am I supposed to point out as our key player other than the man that is coming back this week from being suspended for 8 games and being a free agent since he was cut by the Patriots after week 2 of the 2019 season? And that is none other than the former Pittsburgh Steeler Antonio Brown. And his last game with the Steelers was actually against the Saints, and he put up a monster performance against the Saints coming in week 16 in 2018. And in that game, he had 14 catches for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I expect him to be a really major focus of the offense. I know everyone inside the team has been really impressed with what he's been able to do in practice this week, and look for him to have a really big role in this one, especially with Chris Godwin being a little banged up coming into this one. I'd see Antonio Brown having a really big game, especially also because Tom Brady really clicked with him in his first and only game with the Patriots, and also because, Antonio Brown has the leg up with staying at Tom Brady's house and getting familiar with the playbook really quickly and easily. So with all that being said, if I'm going to predict a winner in this one, like I said, I think it's really going to come down to the Buccaneers defense stopping Alvin Kamara and those really short yardage plays and on the ground. And I think we've done a really great job at that this season. Really, the way I think you beat our defense is over the top, but our secondary's been playing really well this year. Carlton Davis has been emerging as a top corner in this league, and also Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting have been playing really solid. And then we also have some pretty good playmaking safeties in Antoine Winfield and Jordan Whitehead. So I think if the defense can do their job, our offense will be more than ready to match the task in front of them, with Antonio Brown providing a fresh spark to them this week. And the Saints are vulnerable to giving up some big plays down the field, and I think we can expose them in that area. So I think we're going to have a big day from our receivers. And I know Mike Evans doesn't typically have good performances against the Saints, so it's going to be up to Antonio Brown to step up in this one. And I think we can get the job done with our other weapons. And I think the way we match up with the Saints coming into this one, it's just going to be a complete mismatch for them, and it's going to be too much to handle. And I'm going to predict the Buccaneers win in this one by a score of 31-20. All right, so that's going to be it for the preview to this week's Sunday Night Football Week 9 matchup. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And this was originally supposed to be our second Sunday Night Football game of the year, but due to the rescheduling of the Raiders game, this will be our first, and it's going to be our second primetime game in a row. So hopefully this game turns out to be an enjoyable one, and hope you guys enjoy Week 9's other games. But thank you for watching, and go Bucs.